So now that we know how to back up and we've made backups and we've talked about how important it is to back up whenever you customize, let's make a customization to our database and start. Whoa, there we already got a problem. I'm going to shift refresh. And okay, so let me go back to that. Diet facts, admin test, and back in. Okay, that'll happen sometimes when you switch between databases in the same browser with multiple tabs open. So that's something to remember. Sometimes I'll even install a second browser, like install Chrome, for example, so you have another browser you can test with different database versions. So I don't think that was anything important, but it's important to see of what can happen. You might have to log back in, shift refresh, that kind of thing. So here's our database, and let's remember what our purpose is. We don't have a place for calories here for this item, and that's a piece of information that we have to collect for our purposes of turning these products into something that keeps track of nutrition information. So if we look at our database models, we're going to go back under settings to database models and pull up our product template. Open it up here. We want to add a field for our calories. Now, inside of this database, this might be something you would use on like an Odoo Online or an SASS. So if you're going to be using Odoo as like a software as a service where you can't build Python modules, this is like kind of your primary way of customizing Odoo. So it's important, to know kind of how to do this. The other purpose of going this route is so that you can understand at a more high level how Odoo models work, how you can modify Odoo without having to get into writing applications right from the beginning. And once you understand how models fit with the views and how the views fit with the actions through Odoo's framework, and you understand the framework better, then it's going to make a lot more sense and you're going to understand the Odoo applications that you build. So in this case, we're going to add calories. So we hit edit to modify our product template. And remember, we know this is the model we want to modify because we found it by looking right here, that we know from these what model, in this case product.template, we need to change. So let's add an item, and you'll notice that here under field name it has X underscore. The reason we have an X underscore is that tells Odoo that this is a custom field, and so they will never name a field inside of their system anything with an X underscore, and they will always preserve any fields in models that start with X underscore. So it's a way of preserving your fields that you customize within the Odoo framework. It basically tells the Odoo framework, this is a custom field, don't mess with it. So let's go ahead and say X underscore calories, and we'll call for the label calories. And you'll notice under field type there's a lot of choices here. We'll be covering quite a few of them in this course. The ones that we've seen already have been the character field, like for barcode and for name and for the internal reference that we saw. So this is a common field type. We've also seen float. Float was used for the sale price. And we saw selection, which was used for the type of product, whether it was a consumable or a service. We're going to actually use integer because we never really have half a calorie. So let's go ahead and use integer for calories, since calories are usually in integers. Something might have 1 calorie or 2 calories. We don't talk about half a calorie. So we'll use that as an opportunity to have a field type of an integer. And under this copied, let's just look at a few of these things. The required will tell Odoo whether or not this is a required field in order to save the record. So if this isn't checked, that means that someone has to enter a value for calories. They won't be able to leave it blank. We're going to go ahead and not say it's required for now because we're expecting to have other products inside of this that may not be diet related. Maybe it's a book on diet information, for example, so it might not have calories. Read only means that it wouldn't be able to be changed by the user, obviously. And indexed is, they're not going to tell us what it is there, but basically what indexed means is that it's going to be sortable, and it would be something that we could look it up on. And I don't believe in this case we have to have it indexed because it's not a field that's connected to any other models. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close this. And you'll notice at the very bottom now, we'll have an x_calories as part of our model. And we can hit save now. And Odoo's framework takes care of all of the underneath required programming to go into our Postgres database and update that model, which is a table inside of the Postgres database. But we don't have to worry about that. Odoo's taking care of adding everything into the Postgres database and letting Odoo now know that this field's available to us. So if we go back over here, the one thing to remember is there's no way for this field or this form to know to add that field to our form. In other words, it's part of our model, but this is what's known as a view. So this is an opportunity to demonstrate. In the next lecture, we'll see how we can take that field that we've just added to the model and add that field now to our view inside of our product template.